good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever applies to you this morning. This is the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. And we had planned on talking about Amazon Polly, I think it is. And we seem to be only two of us here. I don't know whether our regulars have decided they kind of don't like the topic or what. But I might say that our David, who normally is here at the beginning, had a family emergency he had to not be here for. So I will introduce myself. I'm solopreneur coach LowellAnn, and I love helping solopreneurs with their online issues. And oh, here comes Fred. So lately I loved working with Vivek with our online course that we developed and the website that we did to house that. So that's my introduction. So Vivek, would you like to introduce yourself?
Namaste. My name is Vivekanand. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. I aim to bring time-tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, and amplifying simple technology and tools. Wake Technology is my company. Together, let us wake up our potential. I have been seeing a lot of change in the weather. Okay, by the way, I am in England, UK. A couple of weeks ago, it was looking like spring was upon us. It was really warm and hot and all that. And yesterday was, it reached minus 2 degrees or something, and it started snowing in the morning, and we had quite a bit of snow. But strangely, by midday, all the snow had melted away, and there was no sign at all that it snowed in the morning. So, typical British weather. If you don't like the weather right now, just wait for 5 minutes.
Yes, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Yeah. Well, Vivek, I'm sorry to hear about your snow. I'm going to have to rub it in just a little bit. Spring has really sprung here. It's been 8 degrees and it's going up to maybe 15 or 17 today
I was
in
like
Victoria.
really sad yesterday when I was driving to work in the morning while it was snowing. I could see that there was, by the side of the road, there was all these daffodils which had sprung up. They were all kind of snowed down.
Poor babies. Yeah, our daffies are starting to come to their end now. Yeah. So, wow. Well,
That is the change for you.
you're right.
One clue.
Yes, no kidding. Oh dear. Well, I'm so glad you joined us this morning, Vivek. And Javita, you are the next one here. So how would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Jevita from Mumbai, India. I'm a Reiki Master teacher and I also like to help people to start their own online business. In India,
Oh,
we got a freeze.
I think she's talking about probably there has been the Kumbh Mela happening, and I think her state, Maharashtra, where Mumbai is, it was in the news for some reason. I don't know whether she was talking about that,
Oh.
but
Mm. Well, hopefully Javita's transmission will improve. This is what we when we come from all parts of the world. These are the kinds of things that happen.
yeah.
So I see she dropped off now, so maybe she'll come back on. So welcome, Fred. How would you like to introduce yourself? You're still on the boat.
Yes, thank you very much, LowellAnn and Vivek. Good to see you. I'm still on the boat, not too sure how much longer. Maybe the last week in May,
Hmm.
if I manage that. I'm not sure. We'll see. If my friend needs his boat, it's getting warm. Like you
Yes.
said, it's going to be 15 degrees or so today, which is very nice. It's our warm week, I
Mhm.
believe. It's going to get
Yes.
even warmer, so it's lovely weather. I'm Fred Jones. I'm in Ladysmith, about 90 to 100 kilometers north of where LowellAnn is in Victoria. And I'm the creator of Our Future Leaders, where I assist young people to gain communication, leadership skills, so they can become the leaders that our world so dramatically needs with all these wonderful changes that are happening, including climate change, which is what Vivek was talking about.
Mhm.
I'm happy to be here as always. Always learn something. I didn't even know what Amazon Polly was. I had to look it up. Said, what are we talking about? Amazon Polly? I'm always excited. I learn so many things and I use a lot of them, like the course. I'm
Mhm.
working on my course from your using of course.
Of course, course. Of course. And that was our intention, was to that was the reason we called it that, so that there would be a little bit of fun in and around it. So, Javita, you're back.
Oh,
uh,
or not. Oh.
yeah, yeah. So, there she goes again. It seems like your transmission is spotty this morning, Javita.
I don't know why, but all day it works fine, but on this circle time it was crashing all the time.
Well, that that happens. Yeah, it happens. So this morning we were going to talk about Amazon Polly, and um, I'm expecting Jay to drop in any moment because he was going to help us with that. But in the meantime, yes, Fred, you didn't know what Amazon Polly was, and had to look it up. So basically, the way I've described it in a couple of places that I posted it was it's a plugin that you can put on your blog post that allows a person to hear a voice transmission of your text, of the text that's on the same page. And before we went live, Vivek and I were just kind of talking about that a little bit. In that I downloaded a talking book, and I realized that, and it was a technical book that I was reading this book, and decided I would download the audio book. But one of the things I came to realize is that when you're doing that, you're actually using a different part of your brain altogether. and I found it was kind of uncomfortable. I seem to need both the audio part as well as the visual part in order for my brain to be comfortable, I guess. So we have some others with us. I was just sort of saying what Amazon Polly is, but Alana, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sorry, I'm late, everyone. Hello, my name is Alana, coming to you from Ireland. My company is ALB Digital Marketing Solutions, where I write targeted copy for businesses looking to connect with their customers.
Targeted. A key critical word. Right on.
Yep.
I'm happy you're here, Alana. And
Barely
Jay,
made it, but
and Jay, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Jay. My company is Magi Studios. I help people get started in the world of online marketing through coach, consulting, and training, hailing from beautiful, sunny Langford, where it's a balmy 21 degrees.
Yeah, it's not 21 yet.
I'm future-proofing my business, and I'm future-proofing my weather. Back to you, LowellAnn.
It sure is it sure is beautiful here yesterday and today, though. But not 21 yet. So I was just sort of moving us into the thinking about what it's like to be able to listen to and to be able to read at the same time, and how just listening to something rather than reading it means that you're using a different part of your brain. And for me, just listening when I was reading something fairly technical felt really uncomfortable. I really needed the visual as well. So here we are talking about Amazon Polly, which is going to allow you to do both on a web post. So now the other thing that I need to let you all know is I think I have said it, that David had a family emergency, but he and I had a chat about this, and he has figured out how to use it. Although I know he had a few questions about it. Myself, I got as far as going and signing up for the AWS, which is that Amazon AWS. Apparently you need that in order to access the Polly. But I haven't been able to figure out how to find the Polly. So, David or Jay, are you able to shed any light on how to find it?
In terms of the security credentials, I think you can actually get a direct link from the plugin itself. So
I can't find the plugin.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's called Amazon AWS, and it's not called Amazon Polly. So that's something to be aware of. You can look up Amazon Polly, but the plugin will be called AWS.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, so I think once you find the plugin, then there's a direct link as to where to find those security credentials.
I haven't been able to find the plugin.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can just quickly bring it up.
Yeah.
I should disclose that I actually don't use it anymore. I tried it. I played around with it, and I found it was basically an experiment to see if I would increase engagement with the site, and I found it made zero difference, and then it cost me $25.
Oh.
that's because the volume of traffic. I had made some changes to the setting of the plugin, so that it sounded more natural, the voice, which costs more. So that is something to keep in mind, that the plugin can cost more. If it's free to a certain extent, and then after a certain point, it costs you money. So I'm just going to.
And does it depend on the volume of traffic to that site?
Yes.
That impacts the cost?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So if I can share my screen if you want to.
Yes, please.
All right. So it's actually called AWS for WordPress. That's what it's called. So it's actually not called Poly, but I thought if I went like this, and I did add new.
Oh, it's in there. Oh, you think? There it is.
Yeah. So I searched here Amazon Poly.
Yeah.
And then it's right here. This is
Yep.
the one right here. So that's what the plugin looks like.
But I was under the impression, and maybe it's the wrong, incorrect impression, that you had to go in and register for AWS before you could do any of that.
Well, before to activate the plugin, yes,
Okay.
or I'm sorry, to make the plugin work, yes, you need to have that. But you can sign up to the Amazon Poly, or I'm sorry, you can activate the plugin. It just won't work. Nothing will show up unless you have to. The reason why you have to connect with the Amazon AWS is so that because it basically, what it does is a number of things. It will locally store a version of the transcription of that blog post on the AWS server. AWS is cloud hosting. That's basically what it is. And so it needs to connect your account with your website. And from there, then it determines how much data and how much storage you're using. And if you're using an excess amount beyond its kind of allocated limit, that's when they start charging you like per word, I think it is, because it's a real-time transcription service, if you will. It's an automated service, but yeah. So, but as I said, I didn't find any real benefit to it whatsoever for myself, for my site. But maybe it may help with other people's site. Just be aware, though, that if you kind of tweak some of the plugin settings, that you can end up with a hefty bill, So I figured with my site, with affiliateresources.org, it cost about $25 to $27 a month US to just have that plugin running.
Right.
And because I found no benefit from it, I decided not to use it anymore.
So I guess it would depend on the kind of blog post, or I guess it would probably be available for a page or a post, either one.
Yep.
And it would depend on what type of page or post it is. Yeah.
To whether to activate. Yeah. So like your privacy policy, you don't need to activate it.
No. But I was thinking in terms of, well, maybe for something that is related to reviews and, things of that nature, maybe that wouldn't be as valuable. However, I was thinking, as you were saying that, I was thinking, well, if you were posting something that was fairly technical, maybe a course of some sort, maybe having that verbal there might be useful and helpful. Again, as going back to what I was saying earlier about absorbing technical things, either using both modalities, might be useful.
Yeah, I mean, two reasons why I decided to try it. One was to see if people would stay on the page or post longer by utilizing this. And two, I wanted to see if it would help any sort of trigger with voice search. So if someone said, hey, whatever unit,
Yes.
asks a question, and then that Polly would kick in so that it would be able to deliver that information. But it didn't.
It didn't.
Nothing.
Eh?
No.
That's useful to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are using that technique. I'm using it a lot on my phone for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't find any. It was it was worth experimenting and worth trying out, but I found that it just wasn't worth it.
Fred, you were waving.
Yes, I was looking, as I said, what is Polly, and I found the pricing, and this may explain a little bit about why it was so expensive. It says Amazon's Polly standard voices are priced at $4.80 per million characters for speech or speech marks requested when outside of the free tier. But then it also says Amazon's Polly Neural TTS voices, which is maybe what Jay used, are priced at $19.20 per million characters. So it's like almost 5 times the price to use whatever these neural TTS voices are. Maybe that's why you said you wanted to change the voices, so that's why I just mentioned. So there is a free tier, and it's from $4.80, but it goes up to $19.20 if you start getting fancy.
Yeah,
I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, no, it's good that you mentioned that. It was the voice quality is massively different between those two tiers, like massively different. The lower tier is very robotic, and cut and cut and dry paste kind of scenario, whereas the higher level is a little more neuro-linguistic, smooth transition, as they call it, conversational style type of voice, which I liked.
So the question is, and I guess the other, as I'm thinking about it, it depends on why you would want it there. If it's to keep people on your website and encourage traffic, that may not be the best reason. Wow, interesting.
You just brought up an interesting thing that popped into my head. It's and what something which relates to what Fred Jones and Toastmasters and so on, they have the counters and filler word counters. In reality, it is those filler words which make the speech sound natural, like it or not. And I sometime back I saw a video where this was about a Google product, and in that Google product, it was an automated voice, but they deliberately introduced these ums and ahs to make it sound natural.
Good. Really interesting. Wow. And here we are trying to eliminate our ums and ahs and so's. Interesting. So, Alana, I was thinking about you because you've been, writing for people, etc. Can you visualize it as any scenario where you might use something like Polly?
I don't think anyone that I've written for would be interested in using Polly now. That's to say, and I'm biased there because in the videos that I have seen that use some sort of voice, that have a voice, and it sounds very robotic. As soon as I hear the robotic voice, I turn it off because I can't take it. I just can't. I want to hear a natural voice. I want to hear the voice of the person. And I think it goes to a level of trust. I don't trust a robotic voice. So if I hear the person's voice of whoever I'm listening to, I just feel like they're a little more credible because it's their voice and it's their video. But as soon as I hear a robotic voice, I skip. I just can't take it.
You bring up something that's really important. It's that trust factor, for sure. Wow. So, Fred, can you ever see yourself using something like this for, let's say, one of your courses? We're not hearing you, Fred.
Thank you. I think podcasts have become so predominant, and I listen to a lot of podcasts like when I exercise and so on. I think that's very important. So that aspect of listening rather than reading, I think, has become extremely popular. So with that said, I believe there is the opportunity, if you have certain information, that people will probably listen to it more than read it. It's just a matter of where is that applicable. So why would I use this? Well, there may be certain articles that I think in my area of helping young people or create youth clubs that they might want to listen to. And in those cases, I would like to have them to be able to listen to it. Now, Alana made, you said, an excellent point. If it's just robotic, who's going to listen to it? I agree with her totally. So you need a natural voice. Now, you could record it yourself and do that like a podcast. But if there's a way and you have a lot of material and it's going to take you days and days, this may be worth paying for, depending on the amount and how much it costs. So yeah, I could see in certain instances something like that to try and make it podcast-like, so to speak.
Well, and of course the whole idea of podcasts. I mean, there are lots of situations where a podcast really does work to be able to listen because you can be doing something else. Like I listen to the radio when I'm doing the dishes. I could easily listen to a podcast while I'm doing the dishes, or when I'm doing some gardening, or in yourself when you're on your rowing machine, and when you're doing something else, when you're occupied. Being able to listen to something is really, really useful. Yeah. But for me, I realize that I don't seem to take in technical things just by listening. I need to see it as well. So it depends again what it is that you're doing. Yeah. So Javita, I don't know if your technology is going to let you, but can you visualize using this, Polly?
Actually, I'm using it on my website, Advantage Affiliates, but as in one of Jay's webinar, he mentioned about Amazon Polly. So I tried Amazon Polly, but because it requires some technical, key you have to enter to work. So that so I tried another plugin, and it works perfectly on the site. And I personally like to hear his podcast and all these things. So I really like that idea, and I add this plugin. It is called audioplace.me.
Audio Place, Place?
Yeah, .me.
Oh.
And it is a free plugin, but it works fantastically, and sounds are very natural. You have female and male both voices. You can select any of them. And actually, I asked them on Facebook whether they have affiliate program, because I really like that plugin very much. but they said no. But they asked me how can they promote their product through affiliate marketing. So I introduced them to Wealthy Affiliate, and I also wrote full article on it, and sent them, and
Right on.
asked and and asked them to contact Kyle and Carson, because in Wealthy Affiliate we have that program that Jay mentioned in one of our one-on-one session, that you can means add any affiliate program to Wealthy Affiliate, and then all the member can promote that. So I guided them, and let's see.
Yeah.
I asked them to contact.
Right. Well, thank you for mentioning it as an alternative, and certainly some of us will go have a look at it for sure. I can tell you one thing that David shared with me about this poly was it worked on one of his sites that he did, and it would go down as far as there was a sort of a reusable type block, and the text would go that far and then it would stop. So there were some issues that he decided that he didn't think it would work very well. So I'm looking at Alana.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Jay, when you were using it, did it affect the load time on your site at all? Did it make your load time lag at all? I'm just wondering if it's
None.
hard on your site. None at all.
None whatsoever. No, because it doesn't render, because it's not on your server, like the audio. The audio is on the AWS server.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Right. Okay, so I guess my conclusion is it depends on what you want it for, and if it sounds too robotic, then you got to pay attention to that trust level. So yeah, so we are at the half-hour point here, and so I'm thinking that we probably it probably makes sense for us to sign off, but I always like to give Fred the last word. So would you like to give the last word before we...
Certainly, LowellAnn, always. As I said, I'm always happy to be here because I always learn something, and you never know where you will utilize it. The fact that we have these text-to-voice opportunities, not only Amazon Polly, but audioplace.me, which I looked up quickly, and it's getting lots of 5-star reviews, so it must be worth exploring. But with that, there is opportunity, and I come back to what Vivek always says: why would you want to do this? So that's where you got to start with why. Why would I want to do it? But there are opportunities, I think, and when you come across it, at least I'm aware that there are these products, which I wouldn't have been aware of if I hadn't come here. So that's why I really enjoy it. I can assure you I wouldn't be doing a course if it wasn't for your of course course.
Thank you for that promotion.
Yeah, well, I've got to promote it to you, but I wouldn't. And I think it will have some impact in the future, the course, that I'm working on. So thanks once again for everyone here sharing your thoughts. And, Ilana said about the robotic voice. I mean, that sort of brings connotations of yuck. Who can, I don't know, who would like to listen to that?
Right.
I certainly wouldn't either. So
No.
there's, it's appropriate. So,
Yeah.
and Javeda came up with, audioplace.me. So it's wonderful to come here and learn all about this, because I'm using some of the things I've learned here in what I'm doing. So thank you.
Right on. And thank you for the last word, Fred. So I'm going to, I can't tell you what we're going to talk about next week. There might be a chance that we're going to talk about who moved my cheese. So I'll leave it with you all to determine what that is. and remind you it's important to do what you love with passion. And we will see you next week.